Who would be the UFC champion if there was no striking at all? That's right, you're only allowed to shoot takedowns, just pure grappling and jiu-jitsu, 5-minute rounds of the best grappling, yes. We wouldn't watch it, obviously, it would be boring, but just living in a fantasy world where I'm going to go through every division and tell you my picks for who would be the champion if it was just straight grappling, no striking, all the fun leaves. I did another video the other day like this where I just did who would be the champion if it was straight striking, so if you want to go watch that, go ahead. It popped off and got 600 views. And we'll start off with the heavyweight division. That's right. Tom Aspinall obviously reigns supreme over the heavyweight division, and he can do it all. He can strike. He can grapple. I actually think there is a chance that he'd probably be the champion if it was straight striking and if it was just straight grappling. That's how good this guy is. But someone that might have come to your mind, and definitely a good pick, and I'm not quite sure who I would pick, but I think Jailton Almeida definitely could be the champion of the heavyweight division. On this rule set of straight grappling, you're not even allowed to strike at all. No jab to shoot a takedown. Just you go out there and bang. It's time to wrestle. It's time to do some jiu-jitsu. It's time to grapple. I think Jailton Almeida is definitely a good pick, but no, he's not my pick. Tom Aspinall is my pick. I just want to get that clear. But it's hard. It's hard. This one's actually a really tough one to think about and get your picks clear on. Another tough division is light heavyweight. Magomed Ankalaev's obviously the champion over there, and he's pretty good at grappling, but has the guy ever submitted anyone? Did he take down Pereira? He is pretty good. Glover Teixeira would have been a great pick, but the guy's currently retired. Go through the light heavyweight division, we've got like 0 grapplers, but then I thought Paul Craig, he's obviously really good as well, but he's had his downfalls. He submitted Magomed. So how could I say Magomed would be the champion for 5 rounds, grappling Paul Craig? And then I thought a bit deeper, and I thought, you know what? Jimmy Crute. Yeah, that's right. Jimmy Crute, I reckon, would maybe be the light heavyweight champ. He'd absolutely be the top 5. Imagine him versus Magomed, 5 rounds. I mean, he took down Paul Craig and gave him a Kimura, just coming off an armbar win. Kimura to another guy before that. Like, actually, Jimmy Crute's got some submission wins. Magomed, take a page out of his book, why don't you? So I reckon Jimmy Crute would maybe be the light heavyweight champion of the world if it was just straight grappling. I know, a hot take, but pretty good. Pretty good. What do you think about that? Who do you think would be the champ? I've honestly got no idea when it comes to light heavyweight. But middleweight champion, and we're switching up the format. I'm doing weird stuff. Middleweight, Dricus du Plessis is obviously the champion, and he's pretty good at grappling as well. Now, this one I honestly reckon this is the hardest division. We've got Caio Borralho. Reina Dorita even can grapple. Khamzat Chimaev obviously jumps to mind. But I'm thinking, like, if it was 5 rounds of straight grappling, like, what if they don't get submitted? But would Khamzat win the first 3 on just controlled time? Him versus Dricus over 5 rounds is actually tough, but I definitely think Khamzat's a good pick, and I'd be rude to not throw him in there. He implements his grappling every single fight and takes people down and looks for subs. 5 rounds of straight grappling. I do think he'd be able to get it going. If Dricus couldn't implement his game on the feet, I don't know if he'd be able to take 3 rounds of the 5 of just straight grappling with Khamzat. But there's definitely a few sleeper picks to make. Like maybe Borralho doesn't get submitted and wins the last 3. Maybe Reina, Dorita, or Dricus even. Anthony Hernandez maybe is the pick at middleweight to gas out Chimaev and eventually get it going. Like, what if Khamzat doesn't submit them in the first 2 rounds? Which, we can't say he would every single time. What happens in the later rounds of straight grappling? But I do think Khamzat's definitely a good pick for your middleweight champion. Another one, welterweight division. Now this one hurt to do because Jack Della, I don't know if he wins another fight. I don't know if he would ever win again, but there's a lot of good grapplers. Islam Makhachev is up there now. Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat. This one was really tough for me. I thought about this guy, Sean Brady, and I was like, well, what we just seen out of him at versus Leon, like, Jesus Christ, really smooshed him and submitted him, unlike Bilal. But then Bilal stuffed Brady's takedowns and beat him on the feet. But he beat him on the feet. What if it was just straight grappling and you couldn't win that way? Would have Brady eventually implemented what he likes to do? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I reckon Brady's a good pick. I reckon he could maybe beat Shavkat, Islam, Jack. He's probably the guy to be if it was just straight grappling and jiu-jitsu. He stalled out of Craig Jones. He seems to be super heavy on top, and he's got a good submission game, unlike Bilal. So I do like Sean Brady as the welterweight champion. What do you guys think? Lightweight, Ilia Topuria. Now, I do think Ilia, out of nearly everyone apart from maybe Tom Aspinall, has the best chance to be the champ, grappling and striking. But 5 rounds, just straight takedowns, straight jiu-jitsu. Would he really be able to be the champ? I'm not too sure. Armin Sarukian's a good pick. Grant Dawson. These are good guys. But Gamrot did eventually start getting the better of those scramble exchanges with the Sarukian. His cardio's just unmatched. I know he could do it for 5 rounds all day. Does he start winning round 4, start winning round 5? I feel like you'd have to give it to him. And if you're not submitting him, you know what I didn't think about? Charles Oliveira actually could be a nice pick. Maybe weak enough, too weak. Ilia was on top of him. Ilia's a good pick. This video is tough, but I reckon you can't go wrong with saying Gamrot. You can't go wrong saying Gamrot would be the champ, maybe be able to out-scramble anyone. The guy just scrambles for days, doesn't get subbed, and will just keep on going. I reckon he was getting the better of the exchanges against Sarukian. So I reckon he's a safe pick here to say he would be the champ. Featherweight, Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski, a pretty good grappler himself. There's a couple good featherweights. Aljamain Sterling came to mind. This one I'm not too sure about. I've got Movsar Evloev, but you could think about Ortega. You could think about Aljamain Sterling. Would he actually be able to? But you just cannot deny Evloev's ability to just keep on scrambling. I reckon he'd beat a Diego Lopez, maybe get caught in a couple subs, but then tough his way out of these subs. He just never stops, and his scramble game is very heavy. So I just think he'd be able to get 3 rounds out of the 5 eventually. Maybe Aljo would do good early, get the first round, get the body triangle in, maybe get the second round. But I would just say that Evloev would be the champ. That one's gross. But I'm open to ideas like an Aljamain or an Ortega, Diego. I'm not too sure. I think this is probably the pick. 5 rounds. But Aljo, straight grappling. All right, I could hear you out. We move on to the Bantamweight division. Obviously, we've got Merab there as the Bantamweight. No, seriously, I went to type in Bantamweight division, and they just threw a chicken at me. The PowerPoint, that is, because I'm using PowerPoint. They threw a chicken. I was like, that's pretty funny. Merab's a chicken. I'll do it. So, yeah, the chicken Merab is obviously the champion. Now, this you're going to like. What if it was straight grappling, straight takedown, straight jiu-jitsu? Well, someone who just made his bantamweight debut the other week, bit known for his takedowns and his grappling. I reckon he'd absolutely just ragdoll Merab, and that would be Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell would be the bantamweight champion of the world if there was just straight grappling. I'm pretty sure that's right. No. Maybe Merab. All right. I'll go back to him. Maybe it would actually be Merab. No, never mind. I can't go back. Slides. All right. We can only go forward. And now I'm off Merab. Now I'm off. Oh, yeah, fuck. First time PowerPoint user, guys. Bear with me. But I do think Merab was the pick there at that last one. 5 rounds. Merab, he's going to be the champ for sure. Beat Umar. Umar's a sleeper pick because maybe he could stall it out. Maybe Merab needs the striking to mix in with the grappling. I feel like this camera is a bit glitchy as well. This whole video. So we'll just see how it goes. I don't know why it's more like it just can't handle the PowerPoint, but we'll see. Just first time. Throw this video out and see what you guys think. But last but not least, the Flyweight Divisionado, Alexandre Pantoja. Quite the grappler himself, you would say, absolutely. But would he be the champion if it was only grappling? Yes. No, maybe not. I reckon this would be the title fight for sure. Taylor versus Pantoja. Who would win? I'm thinking giving the slight edge to Pantoja at the moment, but I don't mind it. I actually don't mind if it was just straight grappling and jiu-jitsu. Taylor's so slick at getting the back, and he's nice and young in the game. Pantoja, although he seems to go for days, and he does have great cardio, he's also kind of got weird cardio where you notice him slowing down. But that was the same with Dricus on the come up. So I don't know. This is a weird one. And this was a weird video to really iron out. When it came to the striking video that I did the other day, JDM would be welterweight champ. I don't think you can really argue with that. Ilya would be the lightweight champ. I don't think you can really argue. Volk or Gene? No. Middleweight, I think, well, that was actually tougher. And light heavyweight, Alex Pereira. Like, it was just clear as day who would rise to the top with the striking. But there's a lot. It's a dominant grappler sport, so there's a lot of grapplers where, like lightweight, Gamrot, Sarukian, Ilya even, welterweight, we've got Shavkat, Bilal, Brady, all these Islam Makhachev, all these weird grapplers where I couldn't confidently tell you and say you'd be wrong if you had a different opinion to me. So let me know in the comment section below about your about your opinions and picks for who would be the champion if you could only grapple and shoot takedowns and shit, no striking. The sport would die overnight, but just an idea for a video, and that's the end of the video. The end of the... What did you guys think? Just something a bit different. I'm in a little fucking circle down here. Not too sure if I'm laggy or glitchy or how the mic sounds. I think it sounds a little bit shitter. But yeah, I'm happy to do that for you guys. And like and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed the video, eh?